Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to listening to our project today. We're Group 6, the small but mighty group of John Kelly and myself, Leo Song. For our project, we decided we are interested in the domain of sports because I'm a basketball fan and I recommended something in that space. And John happened to be traveling to Philadelphia for work the next day, so we decided to explore the team. We once are performing the linear programming to optimize the team players' minutes. So let's go over the agenda here. I will first walk us through who are the seven Sixers, what the problem that we're looking at, and what are some key statistics in the basketball, including our objective function. And then we'll go through the constraints included in our model, provide an overview of the model itself, and present the outputs and the recommendations for a coaching perspective for the next season. So first, let's talk about who are the 76ers. The 76ers are an American basketball team based on Philadelphia. They're part of National Basketball Association League. The 76ers was a team with rich tradition and were considered as one of the charter NBA franchise. Even though the 76ers are named after the year 1776, that is not when the team was formed. That is when the Declaration of Independence was signed. They have won three NBA titles in the league. Most recent are 1983. Despite of their rich history, they have been a pretty bad team for about a decade. This team has spent their tough years that have come to know as the progress, acquiring young talents with high upside. In last season, the team finally made to playoff and become one of the most exciting young teams to watch in the NBA. During our literature review, we actually encountered in Northwestern's own Thomas Miller's book, Sports Analytics, Dr. Miller proposing that a basketball team's lineup might be able to be optimized used operation management techniques. Miller suggests that a team could optimize their lineup by using integer programming to maximize points subject to constraints around the individual playing time and positions required to be on the court. Our analysis is a fresh spin of this idea, and I will walk through that over the next few slides. Knowing that only five players can play at a time, we need to give players that can give our team the best chance of winning as many as minutes per game as possible. So there are 48 minutes in a game, or 240 minutes divided amongst at least five players, with no player able to play longer than a full game, which is 48 minutes. Basketball is a chunk of full of statistics. Much of the literature have been written about what it is to make a basketball team successful. An influential book on the topic called Basketball on the paper states that shooting, rebounding, turnovers, and free throws are the metrics that lead a team to the most success. When all is said and done, each player individual performance will result in a net statistic called plus minus. Plus minus is thought that the points differentials for the team when a player is on the court. A very high positive number would indicate that when a player is on the court, in aggregate, the team score more than it gets scored on. A high negative number would indicate that when a player is on the court, in aggregate, the opposing team scores more than the home team. If we maximize the team plus minus, we would win more games than we lose, resulting in a successful season, thus leading the Philadelphia 76ers back to glory. Consistent with the literature, we want to ensure that other statistics do not fall by the wayside that we optimize plus minus statistic. We have put the minimum bounds on some key metrics supporting teams' goal for each game in assist, shooting percentage, rebound. Additionally, we would also like to keep players healthy to ensure that they're available as many games as possible, such as John Embiid. The team's all-star player has was famous injured to start his career, and managing his minutes is crucial to keep him healthy. We looked at the full season worth of data of the key statistic of each player on the 76ers from the bigdataball.com. Using this data, we calculated the per minute statistic for each player. Embiid, as you might expect, is absolutely dominating every minute he plays. Using the APSE Excel solver and the standard general regression nonlinear engine, the model solves for the optimal number of minutes per game played per player while maximizing the team plus minus. The model prescribed the recommendation of the number of minutes per game per player and evaluates team performance in every major statistic. We have the benefit of hindsight looking at the actual 2017 and 2018 season and comparing those metrics against our optimal season. The optimal season performs slightly better in all major statistics, success except turnovers per game and the field shooting percentage. The key improvement, however, is the increase of the point differential from 4.50 to 6.11. This improvement would make the Philadelphia 76ers absolutely dominate with a higher team plus minus than the champion Golden State Warriors. Another important thing to note, not every players play every game. However, in the game that players do and ends up playing, the recommended minutes are sorted above. Some of the key takeaways here are that many of the bench players would have their play minutes removed entirely, and instead the starting players would see their time increase. Two players that would see their role significantly expand are the Markelly Fields and Amir Johnson. Two players would have been removed from the team and or have their time slightly reduced, Justin Anderson and Gerald Bayless. It's kind of interesting to notice that it's kind of interesting to see that last spring Justin Anderson has already been traded to Atlanta Hawks. So thank you everyone for the wonderful semester. If you are interested in of our research or resource, please exploring the slides and follow up with us. Thanks, John and Leo.